Hey viewers, today we're diving into the tales of women who have ghosted their nice guy friends after they did something either icky or downright creepy. Let's uncover these unsettling encounters. Tristan Aurelius OP. Women who ghosted a nice guy friend after he did something creepy. What was it?
Punched a wall until his knuckles were all bloody and sent me the pictures BC I was on a date and didn't respond to his texts for like 3 hours. He was mad at himself, that he was jealous and had to punish himself.
Oh, looks like it's a theme with these guys punching walls. My work friend randomly punched the wall while we were at work, after I asked him why he was angry, and he kept denying being angry. Then he gave me the silent treatment for 2 weeks. This made working with him impossible, because he would literally ignore me when we were supposed to collab at work. The atmosphere got so bad at work. I had the feeling this guy was spreading rumors about me. So eventually, I reported his behavior to the higher-ups. Then he got mad I reported him. I asked him why he got so mad in the first place. Lowell, he had no response to that, besides a childish, "leave me alone." And I'm like, gladly.
He messaged my dad on FB to tell him that he was his nemesis because I wouldn't hang out with him on my dad's birthday.
Nemesis is killing me, what a weirdo.
Got drunk, and he let me crash at his place. Said I could take the bed and he'd take the couch. Woke up to him in the bed.
This kind of thing happened to me. In high school, my mom let me sleep over his house. I ended up staying away all night because he wouldn't leave and wanted to sleep together.
He said he was feeling lonely and asked for a hug. I'm not generally a hugger, but I gave him a hug and he went straight in for the kiss. I don't think I've ever backed away from anyone else that fast.
My God, that is such a lousy thing to do, exploiting someone's kindness in that way. Some of the things you women have to endure from men in your life is wild. I'm sorry that happened and that your trust was violated and your kindness abused in such a way.
Showed up at my work uninvited and hid around a corner, texted me I looked great in my sweater. Dude, fuck all the way off.
These nice guys seem to have a whole playbook of creepy antics. Nothing about these is nice at all. Let's hear more of them.
Asked me if I could send him a text with just the words, "It was great." I asked him why. He told me it was because he had been joking with his friends that we'd been to a gangbang, and he wanted me to play along. Bearing in mind this happened maybe a week or so after I told him that I'd been abused by a group of older boys when I was at school.
What a sick scumbag. I'm sorry he treated you like that.
Yep. And when I ghosted him, he texted me a few weeks later asking what he did wrong. I told him that I had no interest in being friends with a misogynist. And he told me, I don't think I'm a misogynist, because misogynists hate women and I love them too much. I've never blocked someone so quickly.
I had a friend whom I thought that I could trust for a time. We were sitting in a group and having a good time when he all of a sudden told a joke about sexually assaulting women. I can't even remember what I said to him. Something like, "I don't like you," and then I walked away. Since then, I haven't spoken to him.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many guys say those kinds of things. I was only in a group chat on Xbox and a discussion of sleepover came up. I forgot how it started, but one of the guys in the said, "Well, she could be sleeping, I would be over her." The rest of us went silent for a bit. I think he could feel us judging him from through the screen. Then he was like, "Come on, guys, it was a joke." We called him out, but he changed the topic.
Asked me for pictures of my feet, and when I said fuck no, he responded with, "I get it, we can just pretend this never happened." No the fuck we can't, my dude.
I caught him sneakily recording video of me without my consent during a pool party. He claimed he didn't even know his phone was recording and that it was an accident, so I asked to see his phone to verify, and he refused. It was a friend's birthday party, so I didn't make waves. Didn't want to ruin the party for the birthday girl, but I promptly blocked that guy on everything and never spoke to him again.
He was a nice guy who helped me leave my abusive ex-husband and offered his house to stay overnight before taking the bus back to my mom's house. He then later revealed that he wanted me divorced so I would be available to him for sex.
Tried to kiss me while we were hanging out one-on-one because his fiancée was sick and couldn't come. accused me of leading him on by hanging out one-on-one, called me to chat, but was clearly masturbating during the call. 2 different guys, BTW.
He kept passive-aggressively criticizing my dating life after I had already told him I wasn't interested in dating, having sex with him.
Screamed verbally abused me when I started dating someone new because I'm a F-seeking SLT for giving it out to everyone but him.
In high school, a friend was sent away for mental health issues for a few months. When he came back, one of his first messages to me was asking if he could eat me out BC. It's been a long time since he did it. Never spoke again.
Yikes. These tales are simply disturbing. One could only wonder how worse can they get. Tune in to hear more of these.
Regular guy that was actually a good friend of mine. I went over to his place to hang out and play games. Just the regular shit. He tried to put his hand in my shorts after he put a movie on. After I told him no and got away from him, he started to yell at me about how much of a slut I was and why he was never one of the people I had sex with and that he deserved it, yada yada yada. I got the fuck out immediately. He tried to use the I was drunk excuse. That guy was far from drunk. A little buzzed at most.
Kept going in my room when I'd leave. I had a hidden camera because I was suspicious and saw him go into my room with no clothes on, and I was still in the parking lot right outside my bedroom window. That was the final straw, and I packed all my shit that night and left to my parents' place a few hours away. Left a note stating what to do with the key when the lease was over. Told the leasing office he isn't allowed to resign, and that was that. I feel horrible. But when he asked what was wrong, I said, I'm not an idiot, dude, and he never said anything. Haven't talked to each other since. I have actual trauma from it all. Edit. I wanted to add, he also hid toilet paper from me during COVID panic when the stores were out, and told me about it a week later, while dying of laughter, saying he wanted me to have to find it myself. I was on my period and didn't have toilet paper for a week. Meanwhile, he had a Costco-size pack in his bedroom after I had asked him for days if he found any at the store. I went to the store every day, looking for toilet paper, and let him borrow my car when I was busy to help look for some.
He said, "You made me do it and convinced everyone that I lead him on. He is such a nice guy," they said. I was 16 and he was my dance teacher.
A former friend of mine once casually mentioned that he and a couple of his frat bros from college were going to take a 2-week vacation to Thailand to have sex with prostitutes there.
In college, I became close with this one guy. I thought we are best friends. I had boyfriend, which he knew. I was talking to him about my BF. He was telling me about girls. I was helping him with dates. Only to turn out he has a crush on me. I distanced myself from him until he made me believe it passed him, and he only saw me as friend. I was naive enough to believe. Until one time, few of us friends came to his place to comfort him after breakup. It ended with him literally sobbing to me about how much he loves me and how much better he is than my BF. I felt like a big fool. It turned out he said and did the same to our other close girlfriend that is my roommate and bestie. He was very unstable. Both of us cut him out after that, though we were forced to see him sometimes and he would still message me.
Called my parents' house phone. I never gave him that number. I didn't even know the number.
I'm divorcing my wife. Let's move to Turkey.
They have quite the ways of giving people the ick. Fortunately, not any of these commenters buy their tactics. Let's check the rest of them.
Guy I went to elementary school with. Ran into him at a pool hall as adults after I had just gotten out of a long-term and bad relationship. He was a friend of a friend, super polite and smiley, and in hindsight, really extra. He wanted to connect, so we swapped numbers. We chatted the next day, but I was going to help take care of my grandmother for a pacemaker surgery and a bit of her recovery. And it was out of province, but that we could touch base again when I got back to plan to hang out. Over the next 5 days, I missed over 60 phone calls. He filled my VM. My grandmother lived in a seriously rural area, so when I drove into civilization and was bombarded, I just went, whoa. The voicemails ran the gambit from, hey, enjoy your time with your grandma and we will talk when you get back, to, I knew you were a stuck-up bitch the moment I laid eyes on you. You just want another shitty dude to treat you like garbage, and on and on. I blocked him and never saw him again. Small-town rumor mills being what they are, he married a friend of a friend's sister and promptly beat the shit out of her within a month of the wedding. She landed in the hospital, and he's got a RO and ran for the oil fields.
He was convinced that he was such a generous and thoughtful person, when to me, his thoughtful behavior was just pushy. If I say no to plans, it's not an invitation for you to come up with a way to make the plans more convenient or appealing for me. It means I'm not hanging out with you. Last time he did this, I tersely told him how I felt and blocked him.
These nice guy friend types are the worst. I had a similar situation where I asked a guy mate to reduce his daily contact because it was just too much. I don't even talk to my girlfriends on the daily, and he called me uptight. A few years later, he finally cracked and told me, "It gets under my skin when you call me bro because I used to like you." I said, "If you used to, why does it bother you now? That was the end of our friendship."
Every man wants to rape. The only reason they don't is because some lack the power to be protected if they got caught. We were good friends for a few years before he went and said that. Goodbye forever, buddy.
Had a friend for years. One night we met up with a group of our friends, and after dinner he offered to walk me to the car since it was on the way to his. On the way, he looked up at the office buildings we were walking past and commented that he imagined that at least one of those lights were people hooking up. I said it was probably cleaners, and he laughed and asked how often I thought about people hooking up. I GTFO'd out. It was creepy and not in a vein that we usually spoke. Last time I was ever willing to be alone with him.
Knew this guy since childhood. When him and his wife broke up, he expressed how lonely he was. Immediately asked me out. I said no, kept pushing. Dude, just because I'm single doesn't make me automatically want you. No, Akshar, no.
Started asking increasingly invasive questions about where I was, who I was with, and what I was doing. When I tried to set boundaries, he blamed me for not being there for him enough. We had known each other maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and went off at me for leading him on. When I told him I didn't want to continue being friends, he cried that I was leaving him just like everyone else. Jeez.
Was out to dinner with him and my husband. He told my husband that he was going to steal me away, and that if he had found me first, my husband never would have had a chance. Not only did he treat me like a piece of property, I'm happily monogamous and married to the best human in the entire world.
Talk about awkward dinner conversation. Props to these people for handling the situations with grace, because honestly, it takes some serious poise to not lose your cool to their nonsense. Moving on to the remaining bit.
Waiting for me on my kid's trampoline in our yard when I wasn't home. He lived in my neighborhood and strolled over earlier and wanted to hang out, but I said I was busy, got in my car and drove away in front of him. I assumed he'd walk home, but he didn't. My other neighbor had a camera. He stayed there on my trampoline for 2.5 hours until I got home with my kids, and then was upset I wouldn't let him inside to hang out while I put them to bed.
Wrote a love song about a girl who the song described as looking exactly like me, sat down on my bed and looked deep into my eyes as he sang it to me. When I politely told him this was really nice but I wasn't interested, he called me a conceited bitch for assuming the song was about me.
The guy friend who I had only known for a month would just creepily moan as a joke when we'd FaceTime to play video games together. It set me off so bad. He started following me everywhere in school, and he would always talk about what kind of ass he likes in a man, and how he comes a little when he eats butter naan. He was so goddamn weird. I told him to leave me alone, and he called me an asshole for that. I don't know why I was even friends with him.
Let a guy I used to be friends with stay at my house who was visiting from out of the country pay and stay at my house for a week. We drank and I went to bed and he went to the room I designated to him. He came to my room and woke me up saying he couldn't sleep, then got in bed and started cuddling me and holding my hand. He was in the state visiting his wife that he had cheated on trying to make things right. Most other times, it's guys not taking no for an answer when I don't want to have sex with them. I've ghosted a lot of guys.
He started treating all the girls in our friend circle like crap because they're not like you. Told him that was stupid and to stop being an ass. He then became a stalker, and I haven't used social media in years and changed my phone number like 3 times. Fun.
Moving on to the remaining bit. That wraps up our journey through some of the creepy encounters women had with their nice guy friends. From the uncalled remarks to their invasive and manipulative behaviors, These tales tell us that sometimes it's entirely justified to ghost someone. Have you ghosted someone for being creepy? Share the tea with us in the comments.